We are live, or whenever you're watching this, since it's Monday, Tuesday afternoon. What day is it? I don't even know where I am, man. What the hell's going on?
What is going on?
I don't know, man. It's Cageside Live. It's the coolest, most happening show on the internet.
I like that you've done, I mean, at least 50. How many videos do you think? 50, 60?
Yeah, something like that in the 40s ish, probably. I mean, if you
Still
count the stuff with Roth after pay-per-views, yeah, 50, 60, 70.
You still don't have an intro down pat that you just.
No. That's my intro is that I just wing it. I'm just
Your intros that you're so painfully awkward.
exactly. Yeah, people could really relate.
We're late because I'm late because I was busy, but I'm here. I should say that the first thing we're supposed to talk about is our wedding.
Is polygamy legal yet? This is my only concern. I know that we can marry each other as two men who love one another. That's fine in this great nation of the United States of America.
Yes.
But am I allowed to have like multiple spouses?
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Right. But is the
I
law?
feel like
I don't want.
like
This is on the airwaves. I don't want to like have the U.S. Marshals busting down my door for,
I don't think they would care. That's a weird thing to be getting your door busted down for? Hey, you can't marry two people.
I don't know how that works. I mean, because there's that show. I mean, people have television shows about having multiple wives, so maybe they don't care. Maybe it's like a victim.
I mean, I'm cool with sharing you. I don't mind. Right. You love me enough.
Exactly. I got plenty of love. I got so much love to give. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm putting my phone on mute. So, so I'll work on an intro. It'll be something exciting. It'll be like Cageside Live and like some pyro and no, it won't.
No pyro. There will be
no. Damn.
He said no, it won't. Like there will be no pyro.
There
will be nothing worthwhile.
I listened to Handstock's thing, the Rudo Radio on Wednesday that everybody should check out, and I get an inferiority complex. So I think instead of trying to catch up and like get music and stuff, I'm going less. I'm just gonna start it with like 5 minutes of silence. That's gonna be my new intro.
Yeah, you just come on. Hi.
Hi. How are you guys? What's up?
Well, I'm here again. You're like the depressed.
Exactly.
Depressed pro wrestling.
God. Well, pro wrestling is kind of depressing. I'm good at segues. See, look at that. Let's talk about Roddy Piper.
Yeah. So they do the tribute for him on Raw. And it's really touching, the song they pick out. I don't know how they do this, but it seems like the song is always just right. And yeah, it's really touching. However, I don't know if we should lead with this or not, but Hogan is featured in still shots.
Yeah, they gave a couple of still shots from the WrestleMania 1 stuff, and that was it.
No video.
Nope.
Now this goes into what I talked about before, the conversation we had before, where this would be the really good time to have the separation of character and man. Because then you could use him and not feel so. You don't need to feel bad about it. They should still be able to use this. It's bullshit that they're not. Because you're really what you're doing is now you're creating this picture that Piper's career was something that it wasn't, just because you're too hesitant to use anything related to Hogan right now, just because he said some really bad things 8 years ago. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I see a couple of things. I mean, one is I think it would. I mean, the timing of this is just weird. I mean, if this was like a year after the Hogan tape dropped, this might be an opportunity for them to mend fences. But a week after, a week after, I mean, they're in a tough spot. I mean. And I think they did do. I mean, to their credit, like you said, they know how to pick the right song. They knew how to present Roddy as the big deal that he was without dwelling on the Hogan stuff. But Yeah, I mean, the same conversation we had. I think it's hard to separate the man from the character, but it would have been nice. And I think there's a way you could have done it that wouldn't have put Hogan over any more than the couple of still pictures did, and really got over the fact that of how important Piper was to WrestleMania 1. And I mean, which changed the business, which kept Vince's company alive, which instead of just glossing it over and be like, he boxed Mr. T at WrestleMania 2. Yeah, that, and there's no way Hulkamania is as big as it is, and WrestleMania 1 even comes off unless Roddy Piper is the best heel ever, and that's so they're selling him short. I think his career still looks really impressive, but that's a huge part of history, and that's the problem with WWE as the keepers of history and them having a Hall of Fame that is still their personal club. You can't do both. History's history, and what you guys want to celebrate and who you want to ban and things like that is something else. And it's and last night was an unfortunate instance where those things collided, and we had to pretend stuff didn't happen.
It feels really immature, if that's the word I can use. And not that I'm certainly the beacon of maturity or like I'm some sort of picture of strong mental health. I mean, you work on things every day, but this essentially amounts to, you did a bad thing. I'm just going to act like you didn't exist. Yeah. Which, come on. I feel like that's like the least mature way to go about this, because then you don't have to answer any questions. Then you don't have to actually confront any potentially difficult situations where it's like you actually have to answer for what has happened. It's like, did he say really awful? And it's, how easy would it be too? You know what I mean? Like, did he say really awful things? Yes. Do we support those really awful things? No. Was he still a huge reason, and probably the biggest reason, that this company exists today? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All of those things can be true.
Yep.
And I understand that, human beings and, people don't have, or it's just, feels like people don't have the capacity to accept multiple things at one time, or they just don't care, and they do, but they don't care enough to project, or to be okay with those things. And they have to, like we said, they've outrage, and then let's just go with that. I'm just pissed and fuck everything. And, but it's just, it really, in this situation, a man has died, and his career, they are not giving us the full scope of what they should be, just because Hogan was racist on a tape 8 years ago. And that bugs me a lot. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did a decent job with it, but they have to, I mean, it's just weird. They're always willing to, to do what they want to do because they know that we'll keep coming back as viewers, but they're worried that, I don't know, who are they worried is going to like never watch wrestling again because they said Hulk Hogan's name last night? I don't know what they're afraid of. I mean, I guess it's their corporate sponsors and their anti-bullying things and all that kind of stuff, but
I mean,
yeah.
Didn't Kid Rock come out in support of the Confederate flag?
Did he? I don't know. Perhaps.
And I think he did, and I think he said he's going to keep using it in his career, and he's not going to back down from it. The politically correct society and all this stuff. And I'm pretty sure he's got sponsors who are sticking by him, and I'm pretty sure WWE's used him.
Yeah, they have.
You're not swearing them, and it's the slippery slope thing where it's like, I guess it's worse to say, I guess it's worse to be racist than it is to beat up women, than it is to be a rapist, than it is to, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever's in the public eye at the moment.
Yep. And it's like, I mean, they are more than happy to make money off of Ultimate Warrior, but there are tapes out there of him saying stuff about, I know, at least gay people.
Yes.
That is as unflattering, and it isn't like he was, taped in a bedroom. It was like him in front of a college auditorium and like doing podcasts and stuff. So they're definitely hypocritical, which is a whole nother thing, but they never get called on it. We call them on it, but it doesn't affect the bottom line. So they keep on trucking.
It's one of the reasons I like Deadspin. Warrior died. The next day, Deadspin was like, he was a garbage person. And it was like, holy shit, dude, he just died. And they're like, that's true. But like, his history is not suddenly any different now because he's dead. And I don't believe that I don't believe in this idea that like you do something once and then suddenly you're just doomed to be exactly that for the remainder of the time that you're around. If that were the case, the human race would suck so completely as to be completely not worthwhile. But we could never know. And he did, do enough to rehabilitate his image, and he was working on a reality show, and he was doing the injections of inspiration thing, and then he, got back together with WWE, and now everyone's cool with it. I mean, it kind of shows. It's kind of you can be shitty, and then you can be good again. We all have good,
Yeah, see, but my thing is with especially with the Warrior thing, and this is getting off on a whole other tangent, but
whatever.
I mean, this is they're okay with that because they can profit from it. I mean, that's the main place you see the Warrior promo from the night after Mania, I guess that's the night he died or the night before he died, is on commercials for the WWE Network. They have wiped out the troublesome parts of his legacy, and they use him as their A1, pitch man from beyond the grave. It's just shitty.
So your problem is that it's just a roving set of morals that, they present two different.
Yeah, which is, I mean, if you're a shareholder, that's what you're kind of supposed to do, I guess. I mean, your primary purpose is to, increase shareholder value, but you are supposed to have some. I mean, there are corporate ethics and things like that. I guess maybe this falls into a gray area, but yeah, to me it's the wearing two hats thing. It's like we're going to be the moral police on this one thing, and then we're going to look the other way because we can make money off of it on the other thing. It's the hypocrisy, it's the slippery slope, it's all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I mean, they're a business that exists to make money.
Yeah,
that's what businesses exist for, to make money. That's all they're there for. So it's like they do all these things, and I don't know, I guess it's a good thing to remember. When you see, like, earlier this morning, posted the thing about Elijah, the kid that they brought to Raw in San Jose, and they brought him out with Stardust, and he signed a contract, and it's all these things, and, that's cool. But they do stuff like that because it helps them make money. Yeah. And they probably feel good about it. Mm-hmm. But that's one of those things. Stephanie actually came out and said philanthropy is the new is a marketing.
The new advertising. Yeah, exactly.
Philanthropy is how they will, which essentially is saying that John Cena does Make-A-Wishes, and we push it as hard as we do because it's good for our business. It's good for the bottom line, which is just, it feels so skeezy and just, what? Come on, that's just bad. Because you're not doing it just because it's the right thing to do and whatever like that. But, in a lot of ways, that's just how it is. And how is it really that bad? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, somebody is getting benefit out of it. I mean, that kid's fucking day, life, month, year was made. I mean, just like Connor. I mean, they changed that. I mean, that kid had a whole different experience on Earth because of this company.
Yes.
And that's awesome. Yes. But on the other hand, but we're guilty. I mean, that's the way things go. I mean, we're guilty of it too. We know that, if we post that story about the kid signing the contract, it's going to get a ton of hits. And we know that that's the kind of thing that tracks well on Facebook and all this stuff. So we live in a capitalist society. That's the name of the game.
It's a good example, actually, yeah, because there's stuff we won't do, but we'll stretch that line quite a bit. I mean, we won't, I wouldn't, like TMZ posted the 911 call.
Oh, yeah.
From Dusty's family. I would never do that.
And yeah, then there was some question behind the scenes of like whether we should post the video when Perro Aguayo Jr. died in Mexico in the ring, and we decided not to do that. Thank God.
There's stuff that that we won't do that.
Which also would have done huge hits, is the point we're making. Like, we could have put that stuff out there and we would have got a ton of hits on it and traffic and shit. But
because our function is essentially the same in the sense that we cover news and we write editorials and we talk about wrestling, and we've created this with us. Really, it's more community based. I feel like we've created a home for a lot of people, and we do really good numbers, and it's great and good. But like, part of how we do good numbers and part of how we create that community is to get hits. and you get hits by sometimes you get the low hanging fruit, and we do jump on the, oh, this adorable kid's dreams came true, click here kind of thing, and then people do. It's just so. Yeah, I guess you're right. We benefit from it too. But I mean, I don't. That's what I said. It's like, in some ways, it's business is business, and you do what you need to do, and it's still like, is that really so bad? Like, you're not hurting people.
Mhm.
You're not like actively hurting anyone. And to circle back, they're actively hurting Roddy Piper's legacy, and they're by not including Hogan, and they're actively hurting Hogan right now. It's just that it's deemed, he deserves it kind of thing. Sorry, there's my phone going off. He deserves it, so it's okay. We'll do that because he's got this going on, and it's totally cool. But Piper doesn't. And as far as Warrior goes, it's like, they profit off him, okay, but at the same time, it's like, it's a good message. Like what they put out there like that with that promo. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not hurting people.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it, I mean, it's like, like The Rock's quote on Hogan is, he said it and now he's got to deal with the consequences, and that's true. And like I said, I think they did I mean, I don't think, if you're just, I was thinking when they were showing the Piper program to the video and everything last night, to get back to Raw a little bit, I was thinking they would cut to the crowd, and every once in a while there's a kid there and is seeing his shirt or whatever, and I'm just thinking, this kid has no idea. Maybe he remembers one of the guest spots or something where Piper came back, but he has no frame of reference for this. And did he get an accurate picture of how important Roddy Piper was to wrestling from what WWE did last night? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it should have been more. And like I said, and like you said, I think they're shortchanging Piper's legacy by cutting it out. But they, for the most part, I think they didn't sell him super short. It's just, this seems like a weird line to draw when you could have really driven home the point of how important this guy was. Because like I said, there is no, I mean, Hulkamania isn't as big as it is. Somebody said it, I'm stealing somebody else's line, but somebody said that, with the heel run that Piper was on, people would have gone ape shit if, like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had run in to stop him. It was, Hogan was Hogan, but he needed somebody that everybody hated. I mean, watch the entrance into Madison Square Garden for WrestleMania 1. I mean, he had fucking cops around him and people throwing stuff at him and little old ladies cursing at him. I mean, it was a different era, but I mean, this guy was, I mean, I can't remember anybody since that's generated that kind of like across the board heat. And to not tell the Hogan story is to not really drive that point home of how great he was at that.
Would you want your history scrubbed for any reason? Any reason? Your personal history. All the bad. And, we don't need to get into exactly what the bad is, but there's been plenty of bad. Yeah. Bad that's fucked other people over severely.
Probably not. I mean, there's definitely some stuff that I don't want, like, publicized, but there's anything that, if it turns out, which I doubt it, if it turns out someday, 100 years down the road that somebody writes a biography of Sean Reuter, yeah, I mean, you can put it all in there. It's all part of the story, man. It's all how I got to be whatever I got to be. So, exactly. And that's the thing too. I mean, that's part of what sucks about Piper and Dusty here is that, these are two guys that nobody has anything bad to say about. In this business, that's unbelievable. I mean, these guys were like, everybody's like, they always had time for me. They gave me advice. Fans are all, I mean, like, he was the greatest guy ever. He always signed autographs. Both of these guys had a wife for a long time. They were in their kids' lives as best as you could be in this business. And these are the guys that are gone. And it's just fucking, it's depressing.
I just feel like it's, the effort to do that is just really, like you said, I mean, what you are, who you are, how you are today is directly influenced by all these things that have happened to you in the past, or all these ways that things have been, or that, we are what we are today because of everything that's happened before. And just getting, just what they're doing right now, I don't know. It's just, it's bothersome because there are so many that they could do that with, and there's so many different, but yeah, it sucks that it's Piper who's gone. Piper was one of the first wrestlers who did like an interview with Cageside, like a legit interview with Rex, and they had him hold up we got that
Right.
picture with him, and he's holding up the Cageside logo,
Yep.
which was cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's did you cry when they did the tribute?
I got a little teary eyed. I don't think I
did.
actually bawled, but yeah. I mean, this one hit me hard and it hit me in waves, and yeah, I just fuck, dude. 61. That's not that old. He's less than 20 years older than I was.
That's like next year for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just, and I just, well, we were just kicking the shit around online on Friday about how slow the day was, and then you came in with, Roddy died, and it was just fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I didn't bawl last night, but like I said, that my grief has come like in waves on this one. Like I'll see something else or I'll read something else, and it hasn't completely set in yet. Even after last night, even with the bagpipes and the 10-bell salute and everything else, I'm still.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, I didn't expect to, because I wasn't I was born in 1987, so I mean I wasn't everything I know is from going back and getting into things and then having to go. I wasn't around for it, but yeah, definitely I cried for sure. And I don't know, I'm growing myself and going through things, and I've talked about that, but I don't know, the Geno time stuff that everyone used to love, like that's probably gone forever, because I'm just so much, I don't know, at some point I just decided I don't want to be cranky. I don't want to be angry. I don't even want it to be my gimmick. Like it's just kind of whatever. So I was sitting there and I was crying, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm not going to be, I'm crying, I'm so sad or whatever. It's like, you know what? Even that is a reason to feel good, because it means that he was like a really powerful figure.
Yep.
It meant something, and that's a good thing.
Yep.
It's so cliche, but I'm not going to be sad that he's gone. I'm going to be happy that we got to enjoy anything from him at all.
Yep.
So that's a cool thing. So I'm just, that's the new Geno, is trying to find the positivity. And
there you go. Geno time now is positivity. It's the power of positivity.
P.O.P. Hold it down.
Was it clap therapy? Is that what did it for you?
Hey, that's a new day.
Don't you dare be sour.
I will not be sour.
There you go. All right, well, let's talk about Raw then.
What happened on Raw that we care to talk about? I mean, so our new idea is we're going to talk about Raw the next day.
We might. I was actually thinking we could put a poll. I mean, I'm game for the night after, but we would be shorter the night after, because you got a lot of writing to do if we did the right after Raw thing.
Actually, what it works out, it's not so bad, because I've really gotten it down to a science, to writing the recap like almost live. So like stuff's happening, and the story will pop out at me, and I'll start like writing it up. So I had that done.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a little delayed. So instead of midnight Central, it'd be like 12:30. But I'd like to do it. I mean, I feel like.
All right, so we'll put the poll underneath here. We'll put do people want the immediate. I mean, last night we would have been competing with Paige. Who wants to compete with Paige? I mean,
right.
So anyway, but we'll throw it out there. Maybe we might do both. I don't know.
Did you watch that?
I watched part of it today.
What'd you think?
It was fine. It was good. It was more like a Jericho one. It was like good. It was like funny stories, and like it wasn't. I mean, because she's 23 years old. I mean, what are you gonna? I guess I don't know. It was fun. I don't think it was like wow newsworthy.
It was a 23-year-old woman talking to a 50-year-old man who had no idea how to react to the fact that she's a bubbly 23-year-old.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to say.
He doesn't have kids, does he?
Austin?
Yeah.
Austin has 3 kids.
Oh, he does? Oh, good. He's quiet about that. How old are they?
They might be adults at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's kind of weird that he does. I'm wondering if he has a daughter of any sort, even like a teenage daughter, because that's
at least one daughter. 3 might be. Don't take me to the bank.
I'll look it up.
But he's got kids. I know he has kids because I've heard him talk about them.
I mean, that's why I'm kind of surprised. I mean, because I am really close with my niece who is 15, and that's like watching Paige is like talking to Kylie, and so I wouldn't. I mean, like sometimes I'm sure I make the face that Austin made in that GIF you posted, but in general, I'm not like shocked by, because that's how I don't know. That's how young girls act. But
What's
he
funny?
seemed a little flabbergasted.
What's funny is I didn't, and I feel bad, but I'll probably go back in and fix it. I didn't provide all the full context of that. That she said that she was talking about, I want to be at WrestleMania next year. I'll do a run in if I have to, and like started miming it, and then like looked over at Austin, and he's just fucking staring at her, and like he's licking his lips, and he's just like, "Say again." And I think that's the point when he said "say again" because someone was talking to him in his earpiece.
Right.
So he wasn't like responding to her necessarily. He was just like trying to do. And I just totally left that out of the post because I was laughing so hard. As soon as I saw the GIF, I started making the post. I was laughing so hard because she just looked so. I was talking to a friend. She's like, okay, Paige, and she idolizes Austin. Like,
Right.
was having a real hard time composing herself just being in the same room talking to him. And like, friends telling me, yeah, like you can see she's doing the hair flip and she's like smiling, but she's also got that look of like, I'm seeking your approval, and she does her like she swallows, and then they cut to Austin, and he's just got this look on his face, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like,
well, see, all right. So here's the weird thing.
Okay.
So Wikipedia, you were right. He's got 3 kids. One's adopted, but they're all daughters.
Okay.
The eldest is basically Paige's age. She's 24, and she lives in England. No, I'm sorry. No, the oldest one doesn't live in England. The one who's born in 96, so she's what, 19?
Wow.
She lives in England. So he's actually used to people of this age from that country.
Well, one of his wives was from there, right? That's the one who came up with the Stone Cold name.
Yeah, Lady Blossom. Yeah.
Before it gets Stone Cold or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Wow, yeah.
So
I felt like Austin handled it relatively well, where he wasn't like.
Well, especially since you and I talked about this online. I mean, this was supposed to be Hogan. This was another casualty of the, oh shit, wipe him out.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure Austin's prepping for one conversation, and then he finds out, not only can't you have that conversation, but you have to talk to a 23-year-old female.
I don't know that the age. I brought it up like, oh, it's a 23-year-old.
Don't let us keep you up, Morosco.
I know, right? Well, I brought it up like it's a 23-year-old and a 50-year-old, and I don't know that it's her age is the problem, or his age is the problem, or just the dynamic between the two. But there was certainly just this weird, man, I don't know. Like, she kept touching her hair, and she even tweeted after. She said, "Thanks for the positive feedback. I'll stop aggressively touching my hair every half a second." She's like moving her hair around, brushing it back, like just touching it I don't even know why. I guess she had extensions in. I don't know.
She just got her hair done. If you follow her on Instagram, you would know this.
I don't have Instagram.
I don't
Instagram
either,
is the most pointless of all social media. Instagram is the most pointless.
You know why I'm on Instagram like more than I am on any of the others, because I'm always looking for different pictures to use. Because unlike you, I don't like to use the same picture of like The Rock with one eye closed all the time for every post. So
I don't know why you're being.
That's kind of your gimmick. You like that.
I don't know why you're being really aggressive to me right now.
Because I don't know. I just wanted to. You dissed Instagram, and I feel very strongly. I don't know.
There are certain pictures that I like.
I know. No, like I said, that's part of your gimmick. I mean, you said you're going to start using that one of Nikki Bella where she looks like, I don't know what, she looks like she has some sort of alien probe in her or something while she's standing there with Cena and Brie.
Yes, I'm definitely going to say. My other Nikki one that I use is from Total Divas, where she's in a car. One of the Total Divas storylines, for people who don't watch, was Cena was like being really secretive one episode, and Nikki decided to stalk him. And so she was with Brie, and they're in a car outside of some store, and she's like trying to figure out what's going on. And they cut to her, and she just has this look on her face where she's just like the most miserable human on earth. And I use that constantly. But now I'll use the one that it's Getty. That's not a screen cap. It's like a professional
photographer
took this picture and uploaded it to our
mid-bowel movement. Yeah.
Cena, of course, got eyes right on the camera. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Always knows where the camera is, dog.
Looking clean as shit. And then
that's why he gets the big bucks.
His girlfriend Nikki looks like she's, an alien with a huge forehead, vein, and but her eyes are one eye's open, one eye's
closed. It's awesome.
The other one's like rolled up. It's great. It's great. Nikki's a beautiful woman and a great wrestler. So it's not like
There you go.
it's not malicious in any way. It's just
No,
funny.
it's just funny. That's all right.
People get mad at me when I
Anyway,
use the Steen and Derp faces.
I feel a little personal about the Rock picture. Yeah, because there was a period of time where we bickered about Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and I feel like there's a little passive aggressiveness in that, always using that picture of him. There's lots of pictures of the guy. That's all I'm saying.
Do you really think that?
I don't know. Not really. Maybe. I don't know.
Is that? I was gonna say, are you working a gimmick right now? Like, are you working an angle here? I think you're being passive aggressive, you know? Because I absolutely am. I mean, that's true. That's
there you
every
go.
time I post it, I think this is a good dig at Sean.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Fair enough. I got nothing. Got nothing for that. I can just make fun of Sting with Matt Roth all the time. That's my comeback for you.
What are you gonna make fun of?
Sting's great. Okay. No, he's
Last
not.
I checked, Sting doesn't come back and cut promos and call women sluts and whores just because they wear skirts.
True.
Yeah, you ain't got shit to say to that, do you, Sean?
No, but Sting is 0-1 in the WWE, and he lost to Triple H at Mania. So.
Oh, okay, cool. What's on Raw?
Oh, little Sting mark got his feelings hurt.
I'm a Stinger, and you just hurt my heart. You just badly hurt my heart.
I'm sorry. He looked good doing it, sort of. Hey, he's a vigilante. I don't know. So Raw, yeah, I don't know. What is there to talk about? There's so we're gonna get title versus title at SummerSlam. That's official now.
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you? How weird is it?
Yep.
That they believe apparently that Neville is in the same of the same stature and standing as El Torito.
Yeah.
How very good is that?
They booked a match on that premise that there are only two people on the roster that fit a certain set of criteria. One of them is a little person dressed in a bull costume, and the other one is Neville.
That's the most pro wrestling thing, dude, you've ever seen.
Yeah, I know.
One of them is a little person dressed in a bull costume.
Yep.
That's like
this is what we do for a living, everybody.
Yes, it is. I really like someone offered an idea. They were like, they should have really gone all out with this and had Rollins be really big dick. And when Neville came out, when his music hit, like, stop the music. I don't believe he's under 200 pounds. Let's get a scale out here. And they bring a scale out and weigh him just to see if he is. And I bet he's not under 200 pounds, and that's why they couldn't do that.
Probably.
There's no way he weighs 200 pounds as muscular as he is. He's short, but he's thick.
remember the
I like him thick, Sean.
I do like him thick. I like that Neville. Remember when Matt Hardy was going for the cruiserweight title, and they had the thing where that was like a gimmick on SmackDown for a while where he would come out and weigh himself?
No, I don't remember that actually.
It was pretty good.
The SmackDown days when Heyman had the book?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah.
Somebody else remembers that.
But yeah, so it looks like Rollins Cena, and I got myself in trouble in the Raw recap because I said realistically, Cena winning the heavyweight title is much better than if Rollins keeps it. The Rollins title reign is awful.
Yeah.
It's been awful. Yeah. The best thing about it actually happened last night when they did the near fall and he had his foot on the ropes and I didn't notice it and no one noticed it. And then they did the 3 count and he kept the belt because the ref actually saw it. And on replay, it was like, holy shit, that was really well done. But that's like when the most memorable part of your title reign is something that I'll forget tomorrow. Well, 2 days after it happened.
What's great about that is everything that's wrong with his title reign, because the reason that you thought for a second that maybe they would book Neville to beat him is because he can't beat anybody. Yeah. So, I mean, they've built that up over his title. I mean, he could lose to he's been pinned by Cesaro, right? I mean, not that there should be any shame in that, but Cesaro has not been.
It's also a story. It's also a story tool, I mean, you can have the chicken shit, heel champion, certainly, and that's what he's been. And now that, they're going to do the Cena match, and essentially it fits in with the character, right? I mean, yeah, he broke the dude's nose, and now his whole thing is, well, there's no better time to do this match. There's no better time to call him out and challenge him So let's do a title for title match at SummerSlam, and then everything looks like it's in his favor, but it's not, and he loses. That's how it should go. That's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, if they do title for title, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really want either of those guys to have both belts.
You think they'd vacate one?
I don't know. Or they get to. I mean, they're sort of parroting the Ring of Honor story, which is what Ring of Honor is doing. Is they're making Jay Lethal defend different belts on the same night. I mean, like he'll have a TV title match and a world title match on the same show, which I could see either Cena or Rollins doing.
I could absolutely see them doing that with Cena, especially with the ratings.
Yeah. So
give him all the segments. God, fans on our site would revolt. I wouldn't mind that much, but it would be wow.
Well, I mean, if he's wrestling, I don't think people on our site would revolt. But if he's talking, I don't know. I could see him doing it. It's
there's still a long list of people who stubbornly refuse to accept the fact that Cena's actually really, really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Almost as long as the list. Go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to see him going over everybody, there is the argument that if he's got 2 titles and he's going to keep them for a while, he's going to rack up a lot of wins over the entire roster, which gets, even in great matches, gets a little old.
Yeah.
I mean, all the Owens matches were great, but we were still pissed when the third one, when Owens didn't win either of the second 2, the second or third.
True. Should we care as much about winning or as much about just whether it's good? That's a good question.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it. I don't know. I mean, no, yes, we should just care about because that's what it is. I mean, we're being entertained by the spectacle. It's not a real sport. I mean, we talk about the Dana White thing here, which is different from it being fake, I guess, but I don't think that's worth as getting worked up as some people did over it either. So yeah, we should care about whether we got a good performance that was entertaining. But part of that is like, do we think that either guy could win? And when you don't think one guy has a chance, it's not as entertaining. I mean, when you go into it thinking it's a foregone conclusion.
Oh, we did think that though.
Yeah, last night we did, but I guess so. You're right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And with Rollins, you always think that.
True.
So, but yeah, I don't know. There's just a stubborn refusal, which is my segue into talking about his girlfriend, where there's also a stubborn refusal to acknowledge that Nikki Bella is fantastic. I think it was Dave Walsh on Twitter who opened a little debate talking about, is it just me or is she significantly better than Charlotte? And
no
one wants to act like it. Yeah, Charlotte looks like, and preview the rumors tomorrow.
I'll give you a hot take on that too. I think she's significantly better than Paige.
I think Nikki Bella is every bit. She's the champ, and if that were to be like in the legitimate sporting world to denote that you're number one, you're better than everyone else, I'm not sure it'd be that far off. Really not. Like, Nikki's really, really good. Bree sucks. Like, she's improved quite a bit, but she's not. There's a GIF I'm going to post today of her and Charlotte. In the corner where they have no fucking clue what they're doing in there. It's so bad. No one knows what to do, and it's just hitting air, and they don't know whether to sell or throw a punch, and Nikki has to come in to save the day. Like, it's bad. It's really bad. But yeah, there's a stubborn refusal for people to just admit, because for so long she wasn't very good. For so long it was the complete opposite. It was just like Cena. It's just you're getting by on something other than the fact that you're just really good at your job. But like, at what point do people just go, you know what? She's every bit as good as any of these NXT women. I love Becky Lynch, but Nikki's just as good as Becky. Probably a lot better.
See, that's where you'd lose me. I'd put Nikki. I wouldn't say better. I don't know. I mean, she's in. I would probably put Nikki just behind Becky and Sasha. But that's part of that is in the opportunity that those two have had to put on longer matches. So if Nikki was getting to work 20-minute house show main events and stuff like that, maybe it would be equal. But from what I've seen on television, I would put her just behind those two, but not a lot. And I would put her ahead of Charlotte and Paige and the rest of that crew. What's
funny is this, and this will be in the preview of the rumors tomorrow, Charlotte is apparently going to be first for a title shot. They're grooming her to be
Oh,
the one.
I told you that one of these podcasts we did. I mean, just that's the way they're presenting her. Even on
Yeah.
NXT, they're
Yep.
showing these clips of Charlotte's big wins from Raw. They don't mention Becky. They don't mention Sasha. They're pushing Charlotte is. They think Charlotte is their like she's both the second generation thing, and I also think that they think she's sort of a Ronda Rousey. Like she's in the tap out ads. She looks like a real athlete. So I think
She's
they're
not
really
anywhere
no,
near
and
Ronda.
she's even on NXT. Her matches are usually very dependent on the other person. Her great matches. She did have a pretty good match against Dana Brooke the other week, but it was a short match. But her great matches are against like Natalia, against Sasha. I mean, against people who are ring generals.
Yeah, she's really athletic and she can do a lot. It's just I feel like with her, I almost feel bad saying it, but yeah, like you said, you're right. She's gonna need the right opponent, as opposed to can make it work or can do something great no matter the opponent.
Right.
And granted, there's not necessarily. I mean, we're not gonna. You can't be. Not everyone's Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels makes everybody look good. He's the best ever. Right. So there's Steve Austin had bad matches with people. I mean, there's some guys that don't have chemistry with other people. No different with the women. But yeah, Charlotte's going to need a Sasha, or you know what I mean.
Yep.
A Paige.
And the other thing about Charlotte is that she's not a terribly good promo either. I mean,
She's awful. The woo shit is. I'm done with it. Like I'm already done with it. Like I'm tired of hearing it. If all you have to add to the conversation is a loud squealing noise, just don't talk. Just don't.
She's had a couple in her career where I'm like, okay, she's making progress, and then she'll deliver something else that's just wooden, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't. If she wasn't, I mean, maybe it's all an elaborate work because this is usually like people who are feuding with her on NXT. This is usually their line is, "Oh, you're getting this all handed to you because you're Nature Boy's daughter," and that's always going to be a story you'll have with her. But yeah, she's not. She's okay. I mean, she's somebody who could have benefited from staying down in NXT for another couple years, maybe, or at least a year.
Couple years. She's already 30 almost, right?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, she wasn't there that long though, and she wasn't an independent wrestler really for very long. I don't think beforehand. At least, I mean, Sasha and Becky are younger, and they have Becky a lot more than Sasha. But Sasha worked the Indies as Mercedes KV or whatever her gimmick was.
Becky's like 28.
Yeah, but she's been wrestling since she was like 14.
How good is that? The veteran of the group is Paige, who's 23.
Yeah.
And then speaking of group, there's another good segue.
I don't like
the name of Paige and Charlotte and Becky Lynch, Submission Sorority.
I don't like it.
Did you see the tweet? It's already been pointed out to us that if you Google Submission Sorority, you're going to find something from xvideos.com. And for everyone at work right now, do not go there. Right. that is an adult entertainment website that shows there's a couple points to this. That, right?
I'll go back. I like to tie this into Triple H, who's the leader. He and Stephanie are the leaders of the Diva Revolution. This is his motivate. This is his reason why like China can't be in the Hall of Fame, because what if kids Google it? So that's
Google that, kids.
Google Submission Sorority and see what sort of stuff you get.
You're gonna learn some things. You're gonna need
the little Charlotte Mark is gonna learn something when she.
You're gonna learn something that you're not
today.
prepared to know. And go find an adult, and you're gonna. Oh man. Yeah. So it's man. It's dumb. Okay. Submission Sorority sounds dumb. Why sorority?
That's what I don't get. Is it doesn't fit at all?
Because they're women. Just because they're women, like they're not young, right? Paige is 23, but I mean they're 29, 28 years old. Yeah. These are grown ass women. So it's just sorority shit. You don't need that. And then another angle to it is, and Scott Christ pointed this out. I don't know if you saw that. Submission Sorority, of course, shortened to SS. And Charlotte, and it's SS, and the main foil, or the opposite, the main foil of Naomi.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm 100% that this is just in my head, but like, come on, did anyone else make this connection? Or let me see exactly what he said. You could talk about it, and I'll find what he said.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, and especially, I mean, Charlotte's gimmick is that she is genetically superior. I mean, they haven't really brought this up on Raw as much, but in NXT, her finisher is called, well, her non-submission finisher is called natural selection.
Here it is. He said WWE named Charlotte's faction the SS and have her doing a genetically superior gimmick with Naomi as her main comparison. I'm 100% certain, or I'm 1,000% certain it's a connection not many will make, and that it's just something in my own head. But I'm just saying, don't they think? Yeah. And he's not wrong. He is not wrong. I hadn't thought of that before he had said something, and then once he did, I'm just, this fucking name doesn't work in any way. It's just they submit people. So, I mean, I get that. That's cool. And I don't know why alliteration matters at all to these people. But, like, you couldn't do – Powerpuff Girls would have been better than this shit.
Well, I think somebody else brought up, I mean, you could do, like, Sisters of Submission or something. I mean, which is still, like, a little bit of a weird, like, maybe – I don't know. I mean, it's hard to – I don't know. It's just because it doesn't. I mean, there's even. I mean, like Scott said, I don't think that they meant any of that, but it's there. So, I mean, you think when they're kicking this stuff around in a room, somebody would bring this up and say maybe that's a bad idea. They also, it doesn't fit anybody. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm still salty that Charlotte's in this faction because I don't see any connection between her and the other two, other than that. They're white and this gives them a blonde, a redhead, and a brunette or something. I mean, that would make more sense to have Emma in that spot I mean, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, Charlotte and Paige even had like a Twitter beef a while back where they apparently they don't even like each other in real life. At least, Becky and Paige have a long history together, but they're not. I mean, they're not like. I mean, you think about sorority girls, you don't think about the the one who's cosplaying as a steampunk person, and this Paige's whole gimmick was that she was the anti-diva and she likes to tweet with hashtag freaks and geeks, and that's not what you think of when you think about sorority girls, sorority members. I don't know. It's just they don't have characters. They came up to Raw and they got stripped of their characters. Now they're just a group.
Yeah, there's this. And that's the other thing, too, that, what's the state of the Divas Revolution so far? And there still is no state of a Divas Revolution because it's the same shit. It's just they're just doing matches. There's no story. Give me a story.
They get 2 matches a night instead of 1, and usually one of them gets a commercial break in the middle.
And they're getting more time.
Other than that, they're being booked the same way.
That's great.
So that's progress. Yeah, exactly. That's great, but it's not change. I mean, it's not – I don't know.
If you tell a story – any story, literally, I mean that, any story. You could sit down and say, Becky's mad at Charlotte because Charlotte's taller. Okay? And that's your whole fucking story. People will find a reason to care about a character. Like you tell, and of course, that's silly, something so dumb, but like if you just find a way to flesh out a full story and just play it out, you almost don't need to even worry that much about the characters themselves. Like obviously you need to give them motivations and a reason for doing what they do, and the rest will basically take care of itself. You'll care about the story, so you care about the characters within it, and they don't do that at all. Like it's the biggest, like they want to build the star and the story secondary, which is so funny because we make movies.
Right.
Then why don't you fucking make one?
That's not how anybody makes movies, except for
exactly
the Transformer movies or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't make movies that way. You don't just like put them on. We'll get the camera, action. Now just do things.
Right.
Cut. Great, we nailed it. Like, what did you nail? You didn't fucking do anything. Like,
well, that's the other problem too. I mean, and this ties into just everybody's complaints, and Stone Cold's big critique of the current WWE is if you come. I mean, you can have the stupidest reason for a feud. You can have it. I don't like Charlotte because she's taller than me. But then you have to let the storytellers tell the story. You have to let them talk and let them flesh it out and let their personalities become what we attach to and who we root for. And then it doesn't matter that the feud started over height, because all of a sudden you care about these people and you're invested in one of them getting an advantage over the other one. But then, so not only they don't have characters, they don't have reasons to feud, and then they read these scripted fucking promos where all they say is Divas Revolution 17 times, and we're starting a revolution, and it's a revolution. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I don't know what that
look
means.
At us. Yeah, look at us. We're actually listening to. They might as well just come out and say, "Hey, look at us. We're actually listening to our fans. This match is going to go for 10 minutes. Now applaud us." Like and I said, at what point do I stop giving them credit for that? Real soon. Yeah. And you know what? Ronda Rousey is unbelievably popular. Like, Meltzer on the Observer Radio show today was talking about the pay-per-view numbers for this show that she did, which was not a big show, which they did not do heavy promotion for it. Yeah. I don't know. I still don't know how to even say
with her at the end of it.
I still don't know how to say her opponent's name properly. Okay, that's the show, and it's apparently did better. Almost looks like it probably did better domestic business at the box office than any WrestleMania, except maybe Austin Rock WrestleMania 17, which is like, come on, like her. I don't know if you looked at the traffic.
I did.
You ever look at traffic on it? Huge numbers, huge numbers for Ronda Rousey
compared to a much better card a month before that had Conor McGregor on it.
Yeah, who also did bonkers numbers.
Who did bonkers numbers, but Ronda Rousey, beating the cream puff, blew it away.
Yeah, women can get there.
On SB Nation, yeah.
She's beautiful, she talks well, and she's an ass kicker. Hi, WWE. Here's your plan. You have all these beautiful women. Some of them talk very well, and they can have really good matches. Rousey has a story, a very compelling story. Matter of fact, she wrote a book about it. It's a New York Times bestseller, and they just commissioned a fucking movie, and she's going to star in it.
That's going to be a train wreck, but that's a whole different discussion.
Oh, absolutely going to be. It's an awful idea.
She's not a good actor, but
she's really not. But still, like, the point is, like, here's this person with a meaningful story, right? And it certainly helped, I'm sure, that her opponent. I want to say her name's like Betcha Kohea or something like that.
I could never. It's Kohea, and I could never tell if it's Bete or Betch, but I think it's Betch.
I've heard Betch. Yeah,
I think that's what it is.
Latest can. It helped that she. It helped that she, said something like, "I'm going to knock her out, and I hope she doesn't kill herself after." When it's very well known that Rousey's father killed himself when she was a young child. A story. There's a story there. And then she says, "I'm going to prolong this. I'm going to fucking hurt this woman. Like, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to make her pay for the bullshit she just said." Hi, WWE. Easy fucking stories with a woman who's beautiful, who's a complete fucking badass, and they've never presented any woman like that. I don't know why they don't. They really, really need to. Like Sasha, as much as I'm not a huge fan of her, she's it. You want to do that? She's probably the one to do it with.
Yep. And like you said, I mean, just take this dumb thing like this woman that we know doesn't stand a chance against this badass. Just have her say something shitty. And then that's it. That's the build.
Something monumentally shitty, like really bad. Like, get the fucking heat on it. Like even I don't, like the Piggy James stuff that they used to do. People go, "That's so awful," and all this. I don't mind if it's a heel and they get their comeuppance.
Right.
Something really, really like shit. I feel like we don't get enough of that in pro wrestling anymore. And maybe a little bit of that is the political correctness stuff and all that, but just something, because that was fucking low, dude. Like, people were really, like, they wanted to watch Ronda tear this chick's fucking arm off of her body and then armbar it separately from the rest of her body.
And then knock her out with her arm.
Yeah,
that had been hyperextended. Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like, how dare you say something? That's awful. Like, and Rousey, Rousey's got her own backstory, and she said some really awful things. And, like, Rousey, I don't know her personally, but the book, she's a potentially...
Well, she's sort of in the middle. She's sort of in the middle of a face turn herself these days, because for a while she was. I mean, she was the fucking.
They've forgotten about a lot of the really awful things that she said.
Yeah,
stuff about like Sandy Hook and all that stuff. We don't need to get into it, but yeah, it's and they use Rousey as the template to we want to get the women over because they can get over. She's the biggest star the UFC has. She's a woman.
Oh yeah,
it ain't that fucking hard.
Nope.
Someone comes in, and that's what they already wasted. The UFC didn't make a women's division by just taking every single woman they could find and throwing them on TV at the same time. It just bothers me so much. They found a star someone who was really good, who they thought could be a star, and they slowly but surely.
If Ronda Rousey didn't exist, Dana would still be telling people that UFC would never do women's fighting.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure
that they have a women's division because of Ronda Rousey. That's it.
And there's probably some personal, Dana saw her and had, caught a crush. And not necessarily like, oh, he wants to like get with her or anything like that, but just saw her and was like, oh my God,
saw money in her. Yeah.
She's an amazing badass, and she's really easy on the eyes. We can make money off this person.
Yep.
So yeah, but
there's a couple things from the comments that people are talking about on this, which are good points. Like, I mean, that they did something like this when Nikki and Brie. I mean, that like having Nikki scream, "I wish you died in the womb," is over the top evil shit.
I loved that angle.
Right. And also, I mean, when Nikki and Brie were sort of bullying Paige for not being a pretty person or whatever at different points in their feud. The problem is that neither of those ever got paid off.
Ever.
The Brie Nikki one just got forgotten about. And the Nikki Paige one, as soon as the Bellas would do something heelish, then Paige would do something more heelish. It's the bullshit with the women where they're all catty, jealous chicks instead of actually having heels and faces. So we never get that payoff that Geno's talking about, where where you see the heel. First of all, you have to know who the heel is, and then they have to get their comeuppance. You can't have everybody be a terrible person and then forget about the feud just because it just ended. You're missing two key parts of the story there. They do good. WWE can start it off, but then they forget what the fuck to do.
Yeah, I don't mind. They did the Paige did the promo. It's called Tamina basically a man.
Mm-hmm.
And which awful. That's a terrible thing to do. She's the babyface.
Yep.
That was the problem with it. I wouldn't care if she was the heel and Tamina's the babyface and she's calling her a man and then Tamina beats the fuck out of her.
Right.
That's good. That's great. That's how shit. Again, you say something awful, you make yourself hated. You make the other person sympathetic. You make me want to see them succeed against you.
Yep.
It's not that hard to do.
That's to tie it back in. I mean, that's what fucking Roddy Piper was a master at. I mean, that's one of the things. Some other stuff that they cut out of his memorials is like when he painted himself half black, or like they did include the things where, although I think when he was fighting Bad News Brown, I think he was a face, which is all. Forget that. Forget I said that. But like the coconut stuff with Snuka, I mean, that was borderline racist shit. But he was the heel, and he got his ass beat for it.
Yes,
that's what they used to do.
That's my stance. If you're a heel, you should be able to get heat no matter what you're doing. Don't care what you do. You should be able to get heat on it. Well, there's some stuff that I wouldn't.
I mean, there's some point. There's no point in going into some stuff, but there's not much. I mean, if you're gonna make a mini movie which is basically a morality tale where you did this bad thing and then you're punished for it, that's what pro wrestling's built on. That's what fucking myths are built on.
They are not doing this with the women. So our thoughts on the Divas Revolution is that it is stuck in they got it going, and then now they're stuck in neutral.
Well,
or they got everybody in the car.
Yeah. They threw everybody in the car and they took off, but they don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and they're like, here, come along and let's do this, but it's in neutral, and no one seems to know how to get that sumbitch in gear.
But we're going to say really Revolution a lot.
Yeah, but they're in the car, and it's a real nice car. Looks good, goes real fast. Well, that would fucking help if you get it in gear. So and that's essentially what they've done, and I don't know when that's going to change or if it's even going to change.
I mean, we don't know what the match is at SummerSlam with any of these women. We don't know if it's going to be
the rumor is the trios triple threat.
And what's the story? What are the stakes in that? They just don't like each other because
it's a revolution,
right?
There are no stakes.
Right.
There are no stakes at all. And that's, again, it could be even be interesting, and I got to get out of here in a minute, but it could even be interesting if they just started to say, dissension. I think that's the next logical step immediately. Charlotte won, and everyone's, we're real happy for her and stuff, but maybe Becky's a little pissed off about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I could have got in, and I think I'm better,
Yeah.
Well, you're not, though. But I am, though. That's real simple. And then you say the tall thing, and you add layers to that.
Yep.
I don't like it that you're taller than me. Well, it's not that I don't like it that you're taller than me. It's that, I've been smaller throughout my life, and it's given me an inferiority, or it's given her an inferiority complex. She's not as good as other people, and she's always had to prove it. And I'm going to prove it again, and I'm going to prove it by beating up the tallest motherfucker on the roster. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? That's motivation.
Yeah,
it's
and like you said, that's layers. Then there's there's 3 different reasons that these people don't like each other, and they're angling for that. Yeah, that's
human life. Like, that's a reflection of what we go through, battles that we play out every day in our lives, where we have to confront things and stuff like that.
Turned up to the next level because this is pro wrestling and it's on television, and that's how it should be.
Was there anything else before we go?
Well, I mean, what did you think about the Taker stuff with Heyman? I mean, both Heyman's promo, and do you buy Taker as a legit threat to Lesnar, and do you believe he's going over?
Is there someone? Yeah, I do think he wins. Someone did ask on Twitter, how do they sell him as a legitimate threat for Brock Lesnar? And I think the nut shot was probably a tone setter more than it was a heel turn. More like I'll do what I need to, kind of a situation. As far as is he an actual threat? No, but if I don't buy into that as much as other people do. I'm not a Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar match is not any less interesting to me just because I know that if it was an actual fight, Brock Lesnar would fucking murder Seth Rollins within the span of 35 seconds. I'm not that guy. People are doing that with Rousey can't work Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania because Stephanie would never be able to last more than 10 seconds. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. And it's okay, am I still watching pro wrestling? Man, this shit's all ridiculous. I get it that you want to present it as legitimate as you can, and then we'll come along for the ride or whatever within the confines of what they do. You build up the construct or whatever like that. But no, of course Taker shouldn't have a chance. Of course it should immediately end. But the entire Taker character is supernatural. Is that he does things that he's not supposed to be able to do, that no one's supposed to be able to do. So of course and I think he'll win. And I don't know how they'll do it, and I won't be happy about it because I don't think he should. I think he should lose and then try to retire and then figure out a way to get him on the card next year and then retire at that card. I don't think it should be against Brock. That's a terrible idea.
If they're going to do the rematch at Mania, which is the other rumor, right, is that we'll get the third part of this trilogy, which is really 4 parts because they fought before Hell in a Cell. Is they should do what Greenfield was saying, have Lesnar win this one and then have Taker basically do the HBK thing. If I can't beat you, I'm done. So let's do it.
But then lose. But then Greenfield wants him to win, and I hate that idea.
Yeah, I could see. I wouldn't mind it as much. I mean, as long as he walked off into the sunset afterwards. I don't know. I mean, I thought I'm with you. I think if you do the right story, I believe Taker has more of a chance against Lesnar than I did Rollins because they spent a month telling me that Rollins had no chance. So spend a month telling me the Taker has a chance and that it's, and it's going to be 10 minutes of dirty boxing and, brawling. And they might even put a no DQ stip on it or something.
I'm also afraid for his health.
Because they're going to want to do the suplex spots because that's Brock's gimmick now is Suplex City. And shit, I don't want to watch him taking those.
Well, and the concussion came, I think, at the Mania match on a fucking leg sweep or something like that. And he just fell. And it doesn't even look that bad. No, his lights are dimmed for the rest of the damn match, and it's just I don't know, man. I don't want to watch an old man, and he's an old man now. I don't want to watch him injure himself thinking he can do more than he can because he wants to do more than he can.
Right.
The story should be he should lose again and come out and go, and he's coming to the this should be the end, and it should be just like you said with Sean, and that's the good story too. And I wrote about that for my favorite WrestleMania match. Remember when we were doing those? Yep. That was the whole story of that stuff. Shawn Michaels is the greatest of all time, but it doesn't matter how good you are at anything, you'll fail.
Right.
You will fail at some point. That's just how it is. You're not always going to be able to do what you want to do, and it's that's what they should do.
Yep.
Got to try, and he'll just keep trying. He's never beat Brock.
Nope.
Not once ever. Not even on TV, I don't think. So it's, regular TV. See, multiple pay-per-view matches, title matches, Hell in a Cell, WrestleMania, beat the streak, all that stuff. So it sets up nice. but he should lose again. He should end his career having never beaten Brock, because he's just not good enough, and that's okay. And now you know. Now I know. I'm done, guys. This is it. See ya. All right.
Word.
Bye.
And with that,
I was gonna say, are you gonna go? I stopped talking.
I was on the wrong. I was on the wrong tab. I should have. I suck. I can't do intros.
So
I
go
can't
on me saying "girl bye" about Undertaker.
I can't do outros. I just God.
That's what he should do. He should retire and just exclusively work on Total Divas. Undertaker and Michelle McCool on Total Divas. That's what I really want to happen.